All right, today's November 6th, 2013. This is the MCBS Hour with music, coming to you live and direct from the Full Sail campus, recorded in front of a virtual and a live studio audience. Welcome, everybody. So glad to have you here for today's radio show. It is called the MCBS Hour. And I don't want there to be any confusion about the name. It may or may not take an hour. We're not sure. With that in mind, I'd love to introduce the many people that we have joining us here. And we'll go in order of appearance in the course curriculum. First up would be our Emily Ray.
That's right, folks. I am Emily Ray, and I teach new media tools. And if you are in Jason's class, soon you will be in mine. So I look forward to having you. And now for, drum roll if we had one, Lisa's.
Oh,
hey there,
really?
everybody. Hey, everybody. It's Lisa Smith, and I teach aesthetics and communication theory, as well as Portfolio Project 1 for the online students. And passing it on down to Janelle Ferrer.
Hey guys, this is Janelle Ferrer, and I teach Media Communications Project Management, and I will be teaching Portfolio 2 on campus as well as that class. Passing it on to Pete.
Hey, thank you, Janelle. And I'm Pete Episcopo, and I teach research in media communications and the Portfolio Project 2 class. And I just have to say, it's feeling a little more like the holidays are coming around here. I don't know, for me. I hope it is for you guys, too. And with that, I'm going to pass it on to my buddy, Robert.
Hey, welcome everyone to our weekly MCBS radio hour, or if Jason says, not quite an hour. Want to welcome everybody, and looking forward to a great session here. With that, I want to pass it down to Phyllis.
Thank you, Robert. This is Phyllis. I teach digital video and editing principles. And sometimes Robert comes after me. Right now, I'm not sure anybody comes after me. I think, yep, back to Jason.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Phyllis. For those of you listening, don't be alarmed. The program doesn't suddenly end right after Phyllis. We're just not entirely sure who comes next.
I'm glad you clarified.
You should have seen the looks in this room. What? We're done?
And it's
Actually,
because
Pete
Phyllis
goes after.
Yeah, well, Phyllis is a hard act to follow anyway, so.
Right. That's what we can't even get anybody to try. Well, I'll tell you what. You guys sound great. Our audio levels are great. Everything seems to be pumping along, and I don't want to waste any of that momentum. So let's jump directly into media in the news. And the first story is one that I can't believe it's been so long. I have to almost apologize. Not actually apologize, just almost apologize that it's taken us 2.5 weeks to bring this to you. But your school, Full Sail University, was recently ranked 7th out of 100 ranked universities for their amazing social media. Well, it's a social media ranking. And I think it's astounding not only that we're 7th, but the people that beat us. The people, I should say it like this, the people that we are going to dominate in the next year so that we can take first place. But here we are. Yeah, exactly. Here we are at 7th place, according to the studentadvisor.com social media colleges ranking. And right ahead of us in 6th place is Princeton University. I don't know if you've heard of them. I believe they're on the East Coast somewhere. And then another school called Duke University. Is that?
I think that's Duquesne. I think it's Duquesne.
Duquesne. That's what my first graders used to say all the time. So I think you're right. And in 4th place, ahead of us still, and so I'm a little resentful, Yale University in 4th place. 3rd place, we have Johns Hopkins University.
Wow.
Yep. Stanford, which I believe is a university or a community college.
Jeez, Jason.
And finally, Finally in first place, Harvard. Harvard. That's kind of exciting.
Wow.
So we have those 6 universities that we need to crush before the next ranking next year, and I'm sure we can do it. I'm really, 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 really proud to be able to say that I go and have a degree from and work for the university that is ranked so incredibly high in that ranking. That's just cool.
Very.
Very, very cool. And that's really all I have to say about that. Pat ourselves on the back, everybody. And with that, we're going to jump forward into a very interesting media in the news segment. You see these 2 guys down here? I don't know if you recognize them. If you do, you probably watch Mythbusters on a very regular basis, because they're not the 2 main guys. These are those other guys. Tori Balisi and Grant Imahara. Now, come on, Lisa, how do you actually say those?
It's I hear Tori Belici and Grant Imahara.
Hey, I almost got it.
You got the pictures backwards from the way we listed them.
Oh, well, I meant this was...
That's Grant on the left and Tori on the right.
So, I guess I could have... Yeah, I could see that. Well, recently we had that horrible shooting at LAX in Terminal 3, and while there were a lot of people there and a lot of people were affected and a lot of people shared what was happening to them on social media outlets, it was these 2 guys who probably had the broadest audience during the shooting. And I was hoping Lisa would walk us through that.
Yeah, I read there was an interview with both of them where they were talking to them about their experiences because they were both tweeting live while it was all happening. And I believe it was Tori who was pretty much on the scene. He was in very close proximity to where everything was happening. And Grant was somewhere else in one of the airline lounges. And security, suddenly there's chaos and security's locking down everything. So those who were in the lounge were held in place and told to have their IDs ready. And while Tori's hiding with the other bystanders at one of the other gates. So pretty terrifying, but it's like you said, it's real time. It's from the location, and Twitter has really been on the forefront of the what is called what I've heard called the citizen journalism phenomenon, which I don't think is really a new thing, but I think with social media and especially with the connection to our mobile devices now, it's just so readily available for us to send that information out. And you see this again and again. This isn't the first incident where this has happened. Of course, Twitter was a big part of the events of Arab Spring in Egypt when the revolution happened there a few years back, and also when the shootings happened in Mumbai, India. It was being tweeted before it was really reported in any other way. So it's again and again, and I think that what you're seeing also, another related phenomenon, is that the established media outlets are picking up on this, and a lot of their content is being drawn from these first-hand responders, and even welcoming people to submit their content to the news outlets to augment their own reports.
That's absolutely correct, and I think that I always think of Ron Burgundy and the Anchorman when I think about how broadcast journalism is on the way out. But in the old days, the Channel 4 news team would have sent a van out to report on what was going on, and that's where everybody would get their news. And now, instead of that van going to the location, I love that term you used, the citizen journalists. I agree with what you're saying. It's not new, but it's certainly come of age now. It's the technology has grown up to embrace the citizen journalist. Even with things like video, the short little Vine videos that you could make on scene, and the YouTube videos you could create and upload, that they don't just share the story in 140 characters or less. They actually show what's going on as well.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, because think of his little short blurbs, but you can actually include a lot of rich content with that too. And I think it was true with this case. Tori was sending pictures along with his tweets.
That's incredible. Well, thank you very much for that little peek at what was going on at LAX. It's nice to have reporters on the scene that we recognize their face because of TV already. And it's interesting how much we trust those people as well. It's an interesting aspect to this. And speaking of trusting people, look at that trusting face.
Oh my!
What a
Oh,
little,
boy.
That's a little gentleman right there. Just look. I mean, he could date
Yes.
my daughter.
Well, Jason, I'm not sure you want to go that route.
He's a clean-cut youth. Look at him.
Babysitter's here.
Of course, we're talking about the Justin Bieber, which has been in the news a lot lately. This specific one, Jason, if I may, involved him making a $1.1 million investment in a new social startup network for teens, which, interestingly enough, is called Shots of Me. How appropriate.
Jeez.
Wow.
So no wonder, Justin Bieber is up into wanting to invest and be a capital or a venture capitalist for one of these network social media sites. The interesting thing is that he teamed up with Rock Live, which does a lot of the social networking website startups, and with investors like Shervin Peshawar and boxer Floyd Mayweather. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the great and big angel investor Tom McInerney. And he was an Apple software engineer way back and started doing a lot of the internet startups for social media. Launched a few, let me look. His company actually is called TGM. If you want to see who he is, you can go to tgm.com. And I think he's really the guy behind this setup. And he needed a face for, of course, the Shots of Me, which who better to get involved in Justin Bieber with his 40-some-million followers on Twitter.
Oh.
So it'll be a nice startup for him. But Thomas was a scientist at Apple's Worldwide Research and Development Group and started in California. And he launched the whole Sony Vaio line. And so he's a pretty good name in the back as a capital or venture capitalist for this startup. So they may have something there if he's involved. But in any case, yes, this is the big news since yesterday. And like we said, since Bieber already has 46 million Twitter followers, it's an easy face to put on this website and attract his followers. And they would have 46 million followers day one. So
He has 46 million Twitter followers?
46.5 million Twitter followers. He is the second most popular member of the microblogging website after Katy Perry.
Wow.
Yes.
That's insane.
He's doing something.
Wow.
That's in the news this week.
Well,
as far as Bieber.
that's incredible. I appreciate you telling us about that portion of Bieber's life in the last 7 days. And I think that investment will do wonders for him. And really, I don't think there's anything else that we have to say about that.
Well, at least he may be able to, get his focus to something more than just clubs.
Yeah.
Which he's been in the news for clubs this week as well. And we will refrain from saying where.
Right. I mean, if you were interested, you could Google it, but we're certainly not going to spend any time talking about it.
There you
Okay. Well, thank you very much for that, Robert. I appreciate it. And Hey, this is an exciting story too that Pete brought to our attention a few days ago. And take a look, the new iPhone 6 is out. I'm excited. Where do you get that?
Well, we are on the cutting edge here over at the Tool Time Institute. We've been hard at work tracking down some of these stories, but this one was this is sort of separate from Tool Time, but it's noteworthy as a little segment on media in the news. So Apple, the big thing is you just follow Apple's patents, right? As when you apply for a patent, just follow kind of what Apple's doing, and you'll find out what they're up to. And so there's these sites that are dedicated to that, and one of them is called Patently Apple, aptly named, right? And so they found that Apple has filed their 8th solar panel patent. And the significance of this is simply that Apple is looking for a way to manage power, right? Everyone is kind of, the more and more things that these smartphones do, the more power it draws. And so it's not just, there's actually whole sites that are dedicated to how to get the most power out of your cell phone, out of your iPhone, whatever, by turning this stuff on and this stuff off and so on and so forth. So basically, Apple is trying to kind of work towards better power management by using solar power. So there's a patent out, and Patently Apple found this, that they're trying to develop proprietary solar technology. And in short, that just means Apple owns it and everyone else keep your hands off of it. So basically, Apple is trying to get this managed power system put into the iPhone and other devices, so that basically solar power comes at the cost of not the cost of slimness and style. So Apple, being such a leader in industrial design, in the way that they create their devices and how meticulous they are at this, they're trying to do solar power without having it be obtrusive. So pretty much that's it. So 8 patent filings by Apple. I think you can safely say down the road there might be something either connected to your phone or something that works within your phone that utilizes solar power. So there you go.
Well, I am confused about one thing, Pete. Proprietary, doesn't Apple usually like to share its technology with everybody and make the world a better place?
Yeah, it's so funny. I keep watching I forget which company it might be Samsung or
About
LG.
that.
They keep saying things like the next big thing, and Apple must be chuckling because they're just sitting there, because Apple, their big thing is, loose lips sink ships. So they like tight-lipped people working for the company, but I don't know how much that's going to be possible anymore as people are following the patents. But yeah, proprietary.
Well, color me shocked, but I guess that's how they do business, I suppose.
They're getting it done, I guess, right?
What do I know? I don't have $1 zillion. Well, thank you for that, Pete. I'm excited. I know that I want to be able to leave my phone out in direct sunlight and let it recharge rather than think that I'm killing it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're going to have to deploy a solar sail or anything like that, so you should be good.
Oh, I'd pay extra for a solar sail. That would be super cool. Well, that launches us out of the news and into a segment of I Can't Believe This Is Someone's Job, which you could read about in the news. So maybe we're still staying in the news. But in this segment, you might be thinking we're going to talk about how you get in the industry and make awesome graphics like this one for when news stories come out. They've taken symbols about America and healthcare and medicine and money, and they've put them all together in a very intriguing way, but that's not in the least bit what we're talking about today. Instead, we were going to take a look at the healthcare debate, and as usual, those of us at the Media Communications BS Hour have no opinions one way or the other that we just don't. We're opinionless. But what we do have is an idea of what's going on in the world on both sides of an issue. And in this case, a lot of people are really pro healthcare change. A lot of people are very against healthcare change. And because of that, a lot of PR firms are making a ton of money. Because both sides of this argument, from many different angles, are paying people to pitch their side and influence people that don't have an opinion yet. Normally, a public relations company's job is to promote a company or make sure, Janelle, or make sure that everybody is on the same side and knowing what they know and believing what they believe. But oftentimes, their job is to twist the public's opinion so they think something that might not necessarily be true. And I wanted to pose this kind of a question to the group that's out there. We've got all these different opinions that are out there and people trying to change people's minds. But how nice would it be if, rather than having public relations dictate one idea or another, if we just put it out there in front of people and let them decide based on the merits? Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, Jason, that would be spectacular. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support.
We'd like to hear from the class. Is there anybody that has an opinion on this in the class?
Boy, they all just faked sleep. They all put their averted their eyes. And well, I can certainly say this. There's a market out there, and this is something we talk about in my class, so it's an easy thing for me to go to. When you graduate and you go out into the world and you start working for an organization, if you have beliefs that are different than that organization, you are going to hurt your soul. You're going to crush your heart, and you're going to make your life a sad, dark place. It's true. If you have a job, let's say somebody offers you a ton of money to go promote a political party that you don't agree with, you're going to spend all of your time trying to find ways to convince people of something that you don't agree with. It runs contrary to what you believe. And that's something I'm terrified of for future graduates. I hate people to put themselves in a position where they're making plenty of money but not enjoying what they do. It has to be so much easier to work on one of these campaigns when you buy into the message already. We got a lot of thumbs up in here, so everybody agrees on my end. Who's that?
I'd like to know who is that?
It's not in my room.
I'm curious.
Is that Sherry?
Who?
The laughing?
Happy breather.
And the breathing?
There we go.
The heavy breather.
Yahtzee.
Wait a minute. Who is it? It was so scary for a minute.
That was creepy.
We couldn't hear somebody who thinks we're funny and laughing. But also some pretty heavy breathing on the mic. In a scary kind of way.
It's coming from inside MCBS. Wow.
She said maybe it's her dog.
Speaking of Emily's dog.
Dogs don't kick.
Come from a dog.
I'm going to take advantage of everybody's attention being elsewhere and move away. And into Kathy's corner.
Oh, that was so good.
Hello, everyone. Oh my god. Okay.
That's good.
Oh, what a classic episode this will be. We'll all talk back, nostalgically look back to the heavy breathing episode. I wanted to say hello, welcome everybody, and welcome to our fantastic campus students and our online students. I hope you guys are getting to know each other as you will throughout your journey, so welcome to everybody. Today I wanted to mention the possibilities for you all throughout the program and beyond in terms of our career development department. So career development, their sole job is to help you find a job.
So there are actually 3 people assigned to MCBS, and what they do is one person really makes connections into the industry, another person is constantly helping students to make those connections as they're graduating, another person is helping making sure that your portfolio and your resume is ready to go. So you have a tremendous amount of support. But I wanted to just remind you about the WordPress site where you can find. We're in there with New Media Journalism and MCBS and maybe one other program. We put them together on this one WordPress site where you can find all kinds of career resources. So even though I know you guys are not ready right now to jump out and get a full-time job, or you may have one already and you think, wow, I can't necessarily switch jobs right now, that's okay. Just keep an eye on this, because it will constantly give you ideas for where you want to go, and it will give you a lot of support and probably stir up some excitement about what all the possibilities are in store for you. Also, please note that the Career Development Department has Open Door Wednesdays, so from 11 to 2, which is great. That gets you out there just in time for the radio show. You can walk in there if you're a campus person, or you're welcome to call if you're an online student and you just have questions or you need some help or whatever it might be. We had a student recently find a job as a social media listener, right, Pete? Wasn't that it?
Yes.
And he found a posting, found a posting for a job at Disney as an entry-level job as a social media listener. It's really exciting. That's exactly what some folks in this program are preparing for, that sort of thing. So we're trying to get him some support so that he can move into that. But career development is a great resource for you. So Open Door Wednesdays, 11 to 2, walk in or call, and let them be a support to you. And you may or may not know this, but once you graduate, from that point till the end of time, you have their support. So anytime you're looking for a new career or a career change, they're there to help you find that job. So they're your own personal recruiting center just for you for the rest of your life. So that's a tremendous amount of support for you. So just wanted to pass that along to you, and I'm actually going to pass it on to whatever's next on our lineup today. And in the meantime, in the chat box, I'm going to put the WordPress website and the phone number for career development. Thanks, Jason.
Absolutely, thank you. And I would also like to share some awesome things that the Career Resource Center did for graduate MCBS family member and my wife, Shannon. She and I both graduated from Full Sail several years ago, and I had a job almost immediately, and we moved down here, and she was still looking for a job, and you would not believe the effort they went to help her find a job. They helped her rebuild her resume, helped her put everything together in a different way so it would be more appealing to other applicants or people that are hiring. I was just blown away by that service. It's not the kind of thing that you think about when you're at a university. I always assume they're focused on teaching you something, but Full Sail genuinely wants you to be hired somewhere after you're done graduating, and they go to extreme efforts to make sure that happens. So definitely jot these numbers down, and even if you're not graduating in the next week or two, it's still good to have this information and stay in contact with these people. And that brings us to hashtag Be Social Media Savvy with Janelle.
That's me. Okay. So today we're actually going to discuss scams, more particularly in Instagram. But basically scams, we all know, they've been around forever, and they just change based on the methods and platforms of the different times and eras. So right now, Instagram has really been taking off more and more. I'm sure that many of you guys have Instagram accounts, and if you don't, you probably will, because everybody gives into these crazy temptations. But it's just basically, if you don't know what Instagram is, it's basically a photo blog. You take a picture of just about anything and you blasted on there. Well, a lot of companies or scam companies have been posting, for example, this one was a Delta one, and it looks like it would be Delta Airlines because they've got the logo. And some of the tips that, different posts suggest is, for example, here it says, just in time for the holidays, we're giving away free one-way tickets to our first 20,000 followers who give us a shout out. And it says domestic flights only. That looks like pretty legit. But one of the best ways to ensure that the scams are not, it has 16,000 people that fell for it clearly and who decided to do it. But they get your information by doing this, and Delta will not typically, or companies, create a new promotional page that's called something other than Delta when they work so hard to gain a following with their regular social page. If they ever do a promotion, it will be on their main page, and it's probably guaranteed that they're going to be more than 16,000 followers. Ray-Ban, I don't know if that's the next, I don't think that's the next one I gave you. Nope, I'll get to that one in a minute. But Ray-Ban, for example, did one, and it said first 40,000 followers to get a free pair of Ray-Ban sunglasses. All you have to do is repost this, tag us, and follow, like, and comment when you're done. Well, there is 6 different actions there, and a company will not normally tell you to do that. They'll either ask you to share or to like something. They try to make it as easy as possible to get you guys connected with their company. And in this case, also Ray-Ban is like, they had it Ray_bands. A lot of the name of these companies you'll be able to access just by seeing it. You'll be able to see that that's not legitimate, and look it up. If they only have 16 photos, they're not following anybody, and they've got 29,000 followers, it's probably not the best sign. This one with Best Buy was, again, free Best Buy gift, and that was, if you notice, free Best Buy gift is actually the name of that of the user. So it's not the Best Buy one. So basically, they ask you to click into a shortened URL. They'll ask you for information that you shouldn't give away. So this is just kind of heads up. A lot of people fall for this because it's easy, and they think, oh, if I can just comment. I have so many friends on Facebook that blast this stuff, and I'm like, are you serious? You fell for this? And so they'll post it. Just be careful what you guys sign up for. There's too much sharing going on, in my opinion, of information that's private, and the younger kids are that they start getting into this, they're really giving way too much away. So just be careful with what you guys sign up for, what you like, just to try to get something free. Nothing's ever, what is it? There's a good saying. Do you know how it goes? I know in Spanish, lo barato sale caro. But anyways, so that may not work in this instance, but basically whatever's free is going to end up costing you a lot. So don't give away your information. That is very valuable. People want it. That's why we do social media, social marketing. It all exists to try to get as much out of you as possible. Just be careful what you give away, and there's a lot of scams going on. So this is more like a little tidbit to help you guys out. And that is all I've got for social media savvy.
You know why people fall for that, Janelle?
Tell me.
They're not social media savvy.
That's what it is. Oh my goodness, you nailed it. Well, be social media savvy. Now you've heard it.
Hashtag thanks.
Hashtag you're welcome.
All right, spectacular. Well, that has us launching off of Janelle's segment into Tool Time with Pete. Pete, take it away.
Tool time, yeah. Okay, well, hey, this week you can go ahead and take us to the opening screen there, Jason. It is a time for change. Autumn in the air, right? Leaves are changing wherever you are. And here, we've got iGoogle, changing again. Like November, it's up, it's over for iGoogle. Put the curtain, down, it's over. So people are saying, what in the world do I do? I really liked iGoogle. And as a matter of fact, there's been lots of chatter and things that, there's a Facebook page, hey Google, save iGoogle. A lot of people just don't want to let go of it. And for good reason. I mean, there's a lot that iGoogle would allow you to have all on one screen, lots of information. And so to help today, to help those of you who are in such duress over this, we are going to show you some alternatives to iGoogle.
Thank goodness.
So yes, it's there. And I want to first of all give a shout out to my fellow course director and technology seeker in solidarity, Lisa Smith, who came up with this first one. This is just it's a great alternative. It's called ighome.com. And Lisa, you can jump in on some of the nuances of this, but I just want to start out by saying this supports widgets and RSS feeds and weather and bookmarks and all those cool things. It also interacts pretty well with Google services like Gmail and the Google Calendar and Google Tasks. But I just want to remind everybody, this is in beta form. So when you're playing around with this thing and it's not working perfectly, it's being worked on. But Lisa, what's been your experience with this before we jump on the other ones? Has this been okay for you?
Yeah, I just started using it actually over the weekend. I discovered it because I was a pretty regular iGoogle user before, and I was really looking for something with that kind of capability. I wanted something that would show my Gmail inbox within the widget. That I didn't have to take that extra click to get into that, and also would tie in other social media and so forth. And this one really has done the trick. I tried a few others. I forget what's. I can't think of the one. Kathy actually in PE's Symbaloo is the one I tried before, but it really wasn't what I was looking for. This almost looks like they just went to Google and said, "Hey, you're not using this anymore. Can you have it?" Because it literally is a direct translation of iGoogle. It has tabs. It has themes. In fact, mine has a Middle Earth theme right now with the map in the background. Pretty interfaces really well with Twitter and Facebook and Reddit and all the social media that I use. So definitely my pick so far.
Yeah, what I love about this too is it's pretty much. I mean, in the description they say that it's clearly inspired by Google. Inspired is a nice word. It's pretty much iGoogle, period. So I think fans of iGoogle will find this really a simple solution to their dilemma. Okay, let's jump into the next one then. And thanks, Lisa. Appreciate that.
If I could comment real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
Well, this may be something I could say, but the only thing I see as sort of a downside is that you don't have backing of a big name like Google. Because if these are small startups, who knows how long they'll last.
Right.
Maybe we'll be looking for another alternative within a month. But at least for now, it's working really well.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye on it, and then, but it does. It seems like at least the closest thing for you guys that want that familiarity, because then you get to something like this, which is UStart, and this works similarly to other services like it, right? You have your Facebook and Twitter up there, and in this case, news. So RSS feeds are big. I'm a big fan of having the RSS feeds because I can keep track of numerous articles and different things like technology and education and all kinds of things all in one spot, and get the top 3 stories from this source and the top 5 stories from that source. And it does keep you, it's like having an employee get you all this information every day at your fingertips. UStart has widgets for Facebook, Twitter, tasks, TV shows, email, calendars, events, as I said. So this is another one for you to try out at usstart.org. Let's go ahead and flip to the next one then. And NetVibes. NetVibes is really focused these days more on business users. And the homepage is really kind of sells itself as a business page, but it's fairly attractive. I mean, you look at it, and of course, this example I have up here is someone who is keeping track of things in France, but you can sort of set it up the same way. Has a large selection of widgets for the same types of things, as we said before: weather, email, to-do lists, and web searches, so on and so forth. So. Unlike IG Home and some of the other services, NetVibes has a deep catalog of widgets. So you can maybe find more to your liking in this. As we head up to ProtoPage, ProtoPage is these things all start looking alike from whichever one you go to. ProtoPage it feels a little bit more cluttered. If you're someone who understands graphic design or web design, this is not the way you necessarily want to do it. There's a minimum of negative space, and everything's just kind of crammed in there. And so this makes it one of the less popular, solutions. But nonetheless, you can go ahead and put in the same types of information in here.
That looks
as
terrible.
The other ones. Yeah, I definitely, yeah. How many of you guys would not choose this one? Go ahead and post it in the chat. But this one is one of the least favorites, I would say, too. I agree with you, Janelle.
The previous one was pretty. The one in French.
You like that one?
Yeah, I thought that was
Was
nice
it the French thing?
No, I thought it was
No?
nice and
Okay.
organized. It looks sleek.
Oh.
Good choice. Sorry.
Très bien.
Très bien, très bien.
Très bien. All right, so let's check out the next one as we head after Protopage. Oh, this is kind of my buddy, Symbaloo. I've been using Symbaloo for a while now, and of course it's great because it looks like you got your Google search right in the middle, and you can go images, maps, news, weather, all in one spot, and you can just click on these things and get there. It's sort of like your iPad. You touch it and you're there, right? If you go to the next screen, you'll see that there's sort of comparisons, why Symbaloo is an excellent iGoogle alternative. So if you go to their site, you're going to see this. You'll be able to read up on it. And ways that people have used iGoogle, they're going to show you alternatives that you have there in Symbaloo. And then finally on the next, on our third Symbaloo screen, widgets. Symbaloo has alternatives for those widgets that you use in iGoogle. How you lay this out is somewhat similar. There's a little bit more effort, I think, involved in it, but as I'm really interested in looking at what Lisa's found there at what am I saying? What was the first one I said? IG Home. I'm sorry, and but I'm sticking to my Symbaloo for at least a little while. The next one we have is one you're all familiar with. Yahoo has not gone away. It's sort of just sitting there, waiting to help you. It's just saying, hi, I know you didn't pick me first, but, I'm still here if you need me.
Or second, or
And-
third.
Or third,
Or
fourth, fifth. But Yahoo is just, Yahooing away. And so if you want, go to Yahoo. I don't really have to say much about it. Yahoo.
For anybody interested in sliding backwards, there's Yahoo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And let's see, what else do I have in this bag of tricks today? Is that it? Yeah, okay, so I'm just basically saying to you, change can be a good thing, okay? So everybody take a deep breath and exhale, and it's all going to be okay. iGoogle's gone, but there is hope. So there you go, that's it from Tool Time at the distinguished Institute, Tool Time Institute. So long, everybody.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah, thanks for that, Pete. The Google graveyard is a little more full, but you've made us all a little less afraid of the future, so we appreciate that.
Always well.
Well, that wraps up another exciting episode of the Media Communications BS Hour. It was a great 48 minutes. We appreciated everybody being here, whether live or whether you're listening to us on the archive. And we can't wait to see all of you next week. Please join us next Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or as we say here in Orlando, Disney time. Have a great week.
Boom! Now we're out. I said it too early.